Alright, so this Roy Moore thing has really got me asking some big questions. Is it worse? Is it worse to be a pedophile, or is it worse to be a Democrat? I guess I got banned from Twitter tonight for asking this very question, and for saying that I would vote for Roy Moore even if the accusations were definitely 100% proven true. And the truth is that I think I would. And the logic that I came to, the conclusion that I came to, the way I figured it out in my head was that if a pedophile might fuck a kid, might really screw a kid, but a Democrat, I figure, is gonna screw all the kids' futures. Every child's future will be robbed from them if the Democrats are allowed to rule the world. That's how I feel. Politics is getting pretty divisive, more and more so every day, ever since the last election. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are really sneering at me. I can just feel the heat and the intensity of the hostility coming at me through the microphone here, across cyberspace and across time, and all I have to say to you is, maybe you think I'm so outrageous and horrible for saying this, but it looks like a shitload of people actually agree with me, because most people are defending Roy Moore and supporting him, and he's still polling at 50%. Now, of course, the other issue, and the bigger issue, and I think the truth of the matter is, that these allegations are almost surely fallacious. There are already a number of reasons to think that they're not real. First of all, the first one and the most obvious one is the timing. These crimes happened decades ago, and then the accusers just, all four of them, suddenly, magically decide to come forth during the last month of a hotly contested, nationally watched political campaign. Yeah, right. No way. Okay? That is outside the realms of statistical possibility. Okay? And it's not like this guy hasn't run for office before. Okay? So there would have been plenty of opportunities for someone that he raped to come forward in the past, to come forward and screw him over if that was what they desired to do, to get back at him. If it was truly a personal vendetta. Only now, when it's under the national eye, when it's top news, when it's a national news story, are these people coming out, and that's because most likely this is a funded hit piece, a funded political hit job, and people say, oh my god, the deep state, you're a fucking conspiracy theorist. Okay, well, you know what, dude? You don't know shit about politics, is the truth. You don't know shit about Washington, D.C. and how it runs, man. That's not my problem, that is your problem. There are a lot of dirty things going on in the world. Politics is a dirty game. And the two major political parties, I think, for the most part, are you know, they're a crime syndicate. Or crime syndicates. I don't know the exact nature of how closely they actually work together and how closely they coordinate their crime. But there's definitely a lot of crime going on at the highest levels. Anyway, so they pulled the exact same stunt with Donald Trump a month before the election. A ton of accusers, I think it was like 16 accusers, something like that. That might not be the exact number, but it was something close to that, came forward and said that Donald Trump had raped them or accosted them or assaulted them or harassed them somehow. And many of these women were outright proven to be frauds. Others were proven to have deep ties to the Democratic Party. And already, that's happening with this case. And I'll get to that in just a second. But I just want to say, voters didn't buy it with Donald Trump. He still won the goddamn election. And I don't think voters are buying it this time either, because it's very transparent. It's extremely transparent. And the thing I got, the conversation that got me banned on Twitter, this guy was saying, oh my god, he's a rapist, he's a rapist, he's a rapist. And I said, okay, well, if I accuse you of raping me, you know, he said he's a rapist because a claim was made. A claim was made that he raped somebody, so therefore it has to be automatically believed and it has to be true. So if I accuse you of raping me, I said to him, then you have to automatically believe that you raped me. I mean, that is the absurdity of your argument. That is the absurdity of what you're saying. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense. Now, moving on. There are already reasons, as I said, to believe that this is crap. Okay? One is that one of these women is already proven to basically be a DNC operative. Okay? There are pictures of her with Joe Biden. She worked as a translator for him, and she's deeply embedded. She has all these ties to these groups. So that's a big deal. Right off the bat, how could you take her seriously? She's also apparently gone on anti-Trump rants on her Facebook page, which she's now deleted. So who could take her seriously? But that's not the woman who he was accused of assaulting when she was 14. Now, the 14-year-old woman doesn't have any provable ties to the DNC yet, but she is pretty much a loser, and she is pretty much can be demonstrated to be a loser. She's a 3-time divorcee who has in the past made several claims of sexual advances at her from pastors. I mean, what the... And she's also filed for bankruptcy 3 times. So she has a history of making these claims, as some women do. Some women just, enjoy it. She doesn't have her shit in order, doesn't have her finances in order. She's clearly emotionally disturbed. I mean, if you go through 3 husbands, in my opinion, 3 husbands and 3 bankruptcies, by the way, 3 husbands and 3 bankruptcies, I think the odds are that you're emotionally disturbed on some level. So that's a pretty big dent in the credibility factor, in my mind. On top of the already obviously transparent political timing, which, by the way, these accusers, understand, if you think that this just happened randomly, understand, these accusers waited specifically until the time when Roy Moore's name could not legally be taken off the ballot in Alabama any longer. So they could have come out a couple months ago, when they could have come out when Roy Moore started to gain fame, when he won the primary, during the primary, when that was going on. Okay, if they really wanted to get this guy, if that's all that it was about, if these women had been genuinely assaulted, okay, they would have come out. They wouldn't have sat on it and waited to make a political hit job out of it, okay? So that Roy Moore's name cannot be taken off the ballot and the Republicans cannot win this election and Democrats will run away with it. That's not how it would have gone. Now, so aside from all that, obvious political timing, problems with the accusers, and also the fact that a lot of these women, are complaining about a fucking consensual relationship when they were of legal age. So what's the thing? That he was 32 and they were 16 or 17? Okay. Well, I wouldn't want my daughter dating a 32-year-old guy when she was 16 or 17. Probably not. Although when I think about it, 16 and 17-year-old guys probably aren't that much better. But, they probably know better. I don't know. Maybe it would be better, actually, for all I know. But either way, clearly there's an age factor there that's an issue. But it is factually nothing criminal, still. So to look at a non-criminal act, still, I think from 30 years ago, at a time, by the way, when that shit was pretty normalized in our society. We look back at our culture and our Brooke Shields, published by Playboy magazine at age 10, naked and oiled up, full frontal magazine. Okay, full frontal, okay? She didn't appear in Playboy magazine. She appeared in another publication called Sugar and Spice. Sick shit. Really depraved, sick shit. That was allowed to happen. Okay? Then at 12, she played a prostitute in, can't remember the name of the movie, but played a prostitute in the movie. And then at 14, again, full frontal nudity in Blue Lagoon, which was a wide-release featured movie was on the television all the time when I was growing up. Nobody thought anything weird about it. Okay, and I grew up in the 90s. Music. Think Don't Stand So Close to Me by The Police. Christine 16 by Kiss. I could go on and on, and there are songs by the Beatles. I mean, Winger. 17 song. Huge song when I was a kid. Horrible song, by the way. Really shitty song. Just the worst of 80s pop shit. And I like 80s pop, but that's like the worst of it. Anyway, this shit was all over our culture, okay? So even to look back at that, even if he was dating like a 17-year-old and it was legal and it was consensual, I hardly think personally that I would really hold him to it now, 30 years later, even if I do think that it's off-putting. Regardless, moving on. The last point really to make is that the entire Republican Party has already turned on this guy, and it's the establishment Republicans, obviously. Roy Moore is a part of the Steve Bannon Trumpian populist right-wing uprising that's trying to rise up. I guess the narrative is that they're trying to rise up and take over the Republican Party, smash them, destroy them, turn it into something worthwhile and meaningful, which would actually be nice because the Republican Party, for as long as I've been alive, hasn't been something worthwhile and meaningful. They've been fake Republicans, they've been secret Democrats, left-wing Republicans, people who say that they're for you, say that they're for America and American values, and then they turn around and sell you out every damn chance that they get. Screw you right in the ass. And they work with the Democrats, and they pass Democrat policies. They just do it at a slower rate. That's how I see it. That's how I see our history and our political history with regards to Republican power. And they're obviously highly in league with the Alex Jones globalists. Globalism is definitely a real thing. You can't deny it. I mean, the United Nations clearly does exist. It clearly is. There clearly are global governing bodies in our world that are ever amassing more and more power. This is an undeniable thing. Anyway, John McCain has come out against poor Roy Moore. I think poor Roy Moore, because I really do think that he's innocent of these charges, honestly. So yeah, clearly John McCain is not a real Republican. I think that this past year has proven that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And lastly, here's the good one that I really wanted to wait for. Mitt Romney has decided that he's already guilty. So I'll read you this tweet from Mitt Romney. Innocent until proven guilty is for criminal convictions, not elections. I believe Leigh Kaufman. Her account is too serious to ignore. Moore is unfit for office and should step aside. Look, is there any doubt that this guy is not a fucking Republican? Is there any doubt that this guy only got the ticket in 2012 and ran as a Republican, like, as some kind of fucking giant lark? These people are not Republicans. These people don't want to win. These people are not real conservatives. These people are political fucking hacks who are seeking to amass their own power and ultimately screw you over. That's why they actually prefer Democrats to win, because Democrats will screw you over at a faster rate than Republicans. They're both going to screw you over. But the Democrats screw you over at a faster rate because they openly despise you and disdain you. Anyway, so lastly, here's the good part. There is a White House petition open right now. Not that many signatures. Looks like 25 as of the time that I'm making this video. But call on Mitt Romney to publicly denounce Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, who, guess what, had a 14-year-old bride. And Mitt Romney is, last I checked, very fucking Mormon and always has been. So I thought that was really just the icing on the hypocrisy cake here. Anyway, that's how I feel about this. You can leave all your hate mail and hate comments and tell me what a huge piece of shit I am down below. I'm actually not a huge piece of shit, but this is genuinely how I see things. Outside of just the, it would be very easy just to throw up some fake indignation and I don't know, come out and say the politically safe thing to say, but I think this is crap, and on all levels, on so many different levels. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.